Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for coming to this session. So we'll be speaking about augmented reality with AR Core. Since we submitted to the call for paper, AR Core was renamed as Google Play Service for Augmented Reality. So if you want to do some augmented reality on Android, you will have to look for this Google Play Service in the application store. You have to install the service just once to be able to use it with every application. I am Christophe Jolivet, and I work as a technical checker at Appseed, and you can find me on the social network at Jolivet.
And I'm Jérémy Voisin, technical leader at Appseed, and you can follow me on Twitter at _Jérémy Voisin_ on GitHub at Jérémy Voisin.
So we will begin with the first demonstration. This demonstration is called Hello Sandform. It comes with the SDK. I've got an invitation to scan the environment, and when AirCore has detected some planes, it will show it to me with big white dots. Then I can tap on the plane, and it will just add a 3D model. I can go closer. I can turn around my 3D model. Sometimes it's straight, but for me it was really free. So I can turn around the 3D model. I can also use some gesture like the pinch or the twist. And I can also drag and drop my 3D models. Everything is just fine until something comes between the camera and the 3D model. Just like this. So we will speak about everything in the following presentation. We'll begin with some introduction and glossary. First, what is VR versus AR versus MR? VR is for virtual reality. This is when you see things in a place that is not the current place. Everything is false. This is what you get when you use devices like the Oculus Rift or the PlayStation VR, and you will have to use some specific controllers in order to interact with your model. The last version of the Oculus Quest will be able to follow your hands. You won't have to use a specific controller. Next is augmented reality. So augmented reality is what we have just done. This is what you can do with some smartphones, with Google Glasses, for example, or specific device for industrial usage, like the Vuzix Blade or the Eversight Raptor. You can add things that are not currently in the place and see them. In order to interact with these things, you will have to either tap on the screen or use, for example, the glasses leg for the Google Glass. As you can see, there is no full understanding of the environment, and we don't know whether the nose of the X-Wing is in front or at the back of the foot table. In mixed reality, there is a better understanding of the environment because the device will use a specific sensor, which is called time of flight, which is able to measure the depth. This is what it will be better for everyone. This is what you get with a Microsoft HoloLens or the Magic Leap 1. The next concept is the degree of freedom. You can have either 3 or 6 degrees of freedom. 3 degrees of freedom is what you've got when you look at 360 video on YouTube, meaning that you can turn your head, but you can't move inside of the scene. 6 degrees of freedom, you can move inside the scene. This is what I've done just before with Andy.
Because we are going to talk about 3D scenes and 3D models, we have to introduce you some concepts. Let's take a simple example. I would try to modelize a table, or more precisely, the top of my table. It's like a rectangle. I would start by placing vertices, joining them by edges, and it will give me a face. This face is my tabletop. With more and more vertices joined by more and more edges, I can even get a mesh. Here is a mesh of my handy. But it's quite ugly. What we can do is add a texture. Adding a texture is like wrapping up Andy in an image. Here, Andy is wrapped up in a green image, and we can even add some shader. Shader are a bunch of rules defining the behavior of the light. Here, the rules are set to have a metallic aspect, but we also can have something more rough. And by combining texture and shader, we obtain a material. When Andy is ready, we have to place it in the scene. For this, we have the pose, which is a combination of a rotation and a translation relative to an origin. For example, the origin can be just the center of the scene. The rotation and translation are both mathematical entities. Rotation is quaternion, and translation is a vector 3. Now we are ready and set to talk about ARCore. ARCore is a substitute for Project Tango. Project Tango was a Google project aiming at creating an AR-dedicated device by adding a time-of-flight sensor on the back, like you have in the front for Face ID on iPhones or in the Kinect. But one day, some little app like Pokemon Go were released and shown that it was possible to do the same thing, almost the same thing, with a simple camera. So Google dropped the Project Tango, but didn't give up, and released in March 2018 the ARCore. It's currently in version 1.13. There is SDKs for the most popular environments, like Android, Unity, Unreal, and even iOS. To make ARCore run, you need to have at least an Android 7 phone, APA24. You must have a phone compatible with ARCore. You can find them by Googling ARCore compatible phones or just by copying this link. Today, there is 173 models compatible with ARCore. I bought mine for 250 euros, so it's affordable. What ARCore does the best is understanding its environment. It offers plane detection, like we saw. It has a really advanced light estimation. It offers augmented faces or even augmented images. It detects movement, and it has cloud encores for multiplayer mode.
So first is how does the ARCore understand the environment? What we have is that when you move your phone, it will find some point of interest. Point of interest can be the border of object, like, for example, the key of my keyboard or the things that are on my desk. And by the way you move your phone and the way the point will move, ARCore will understand which points are part of the same plane, and it will give you this plane. This is why I've put some things on the floor for the first demonstration, because you need to have something that is not too monotonous. Next is the light. The light estimation is based on the lighting cues. There is a neural network running in the background of your application, and it will look at the direction of the shadows and the metallic reflection on the object, and with this it will be able to give you some intensity estimation. You can have a color correction that you may want to apply on your 3D object. You will have some smart shadows, trying to make your shadow go in the same direction as the other object in the scene. And finally, you will have some reflection emulation if you choose to use some metallic material. For the motion tracking, there is a VIO algorithm, which is for visual inertial odometry. It will combine the information coming from the point of interest in the image and from the motion sensor of your phone, meaning the gyroscope and the compass. With this, ARCore will understand how the camera will move inside of the scene, and then it will help you to update your image. You can also do some sound location inside of your scene. For this is an external SDK, which is called Resonance Audio. It will help you to do some binaural audio algorithm. This is the fact that the sound will come earlier to the ear that is closer to the source. So it is also able to do some echo. There is 4 ways to use ARCore. You can either use the model viewer inside your browser, you can use an Android application just like before, an iOS application, or you can use an engine game, a game engine like Unity or Unreal.
If you have ever installed on your phone ARCore, you may have already seen ARCore in Model Viewer without knowing it. Let's see a demo of this. For example, I'm going to Google. Sorry, the search is in French, but it's because the profile of the phone is in French and it won't work with an English search. I'm looking for a shark, and here it is the 3D model of a shark. There's a button inviting me to see the model in 3D. Sliding. Okay, my model is here in a scene viewer. Now I have a button to see in my space this model. I'm clicking on it, invited to scan. Come on. Yes. And the shark is here. Like Andy, I can move around my shark. I can zoom in, zoom out, move it, and go away with him. This is the model viewer. So Model Viewer is the ARCore integration in the browser, and it's done with a simple web component. I just have to put this tag in an HTML page, and what you've seen just now is what it's gonna appear. The Model Viewer has a special flag AR to have the ability to invite the user to see the model in its environment. What we have to do then is just to set the source of the GLTF file. Here we have astronaut.gltf, but in my search it must have been shark.gltf, and we are ready to use this web component. It is compatible with most of the browsers, and you can even use it on a computer or on a laptop. You will just have the scene viewer and not the AR viewer on a computer. There is some limitation in the model complexity. You are at most able to use a 30,000 vertices model, at most 10 materials, but it's quite a complex model already. You have the possibility to add one animation, but only one. It will be played in loop, and you have limited interactions. You can just move it, zoom in and out, and what I showed. It's just a viewer, nothing more. You cannot develop a game with that.
So if you want to go further, you will have to use Android for this. And if you want to use ARCore in Android, there's some configuration that you will need to do. The first thing is to be sure to have a minimum SDK level of 24. And you will have to set your compiler to Java 8. Next, you add a dependency for SynForm. SynForm is a high-level API to use ARCore. And last thing is that you can add a plugin in your build. This plugin will help you to transform the 3D models that you've downloaded in a format that will be usable by ARCore. The next thing is in your Android manifest. You will have to ask the permission to use the camera. You will have to declare that you use a feature of camera augmented reality. And in the metadata of your application, you will have to say that you need the Google ARCore. The first class that you will use is the anchor. The anchor is a fixed location in the reality. This is a location and an orientation. This anchor may evolve. As I have showed you, when you move in the room, ARCore will understand more and more things about the room. And sometimes it may have found that two different planes are the same, and it will merge them. So you may have some anchors that will move during your usage. For this, you have to do a full scan of the place before starting to put your object. You need also to be careful because as the anchors are continuously computed, it will consume a lot of CPU cycles, and it is recommended to not go above 20 anchors in your app. After this, you've got the low-level API from OpenJS embedded system. With this, you've got to manage everything. You've got to invite the user to scan the environment. You've got to display the planes to the user. You will have to load your model from your OBJ files. So OBJ is just a bunch of coordinates for the vertice. And then you will have to manage the interaction. There is SynForm. SynForm is the higher level API. It will allow you to have a realistic rendering. You can use SynForm either for augmented reality, but also just to display 3D scene on your phone. There is a realistic physical rendering engine, which is called Filament, and the plugin to convert your 3D model in a format that will be usable by ARCore. The next class that you will find is the AR fragment. The AR fragment will manage the plane detection, the display of this plane, and the invitation for the user. This is the one that displays us the icon at the start and show us the plane as big white dots. It will also help you to manage the user gestures, giving you the tap, the drag, the pinch, the twist of the user. So you will just have to add this fragment to your layout. After this, you will have to create a scene based on nodes. Your scene is just a node graph. Everything is a node. You've got an anchor node, which is the equivalent of the anchor, but inside of your 3D scene. You will have some transformable node on which you will be able to put your 3D models. You can have some skeleton node to do animations. You can have some augmented face nodes if you do face detections. And even the camera or the lights are nodes. The scene will provide you everything to do heat detection. For your renderable, you can use OBJ, FBX, or GLTF files, which are standard in the 3D. You can also use the matte files for the material. And this file will be converted as SFA and SFB file during the build by the plugin. And if, like me, you are not able to do anything more than a cube or a sphere in 3D, you can look for model under Creative Commons on website like poly.google.com. This is a website from where the X-Wing was coming. For the code, inside of your activity, you will have to create an attribute for your model renderable. Then, in the uncreate model of your activity, you will have to load this model. So for this, you call the builder, you set the source, where is the file, and you call the build. Build will return a completable feature, so you will just have to handle the success or the failure. Next, with your AR fragment, you will have to set a tap AR plane listener. This one will receive the hit result, the plane, and the motion event. With the hit result, you just have to create the anchor. You remember the place and the direction in the reality. Then you create the anchor node, which is the equivalent inside of your 3D scene, and give it the anchor. And you add your anchor node to your scene by setting the scene as a parent. Then you can create a transformable node. You will give it the transformation system from the fragment. You will add the anchor node as a parent, so they will be at the same place. And you will add the renderable on your transformable node. And the select is just to activate this ND in order for it to react when you do the gesture. And with this code, you have seen 80% of the code of the first demonstration. The missing parts are the code that will handle the exceptions due to AirCore not being installed or the phone not being compatible with AirCore. There is a second demonstration. So in this demonstration, I'm invited to scan the environment. AirCore detected the plane. It showed it to me with big white dots. And I can tap on the plane and it will add some cards. So what it does is that it adds an anchor node. Then I add a transformable node. And I load a renderable. My renderable here is just a plain Android layout. You can use your layout as renderable. Then I can tap on my card. It will come to me. It will follow my phone, whereas the other stay in place. And like I said, send it back to its place. So to do this, what is done is that on my card, which is a node, there is a tap listener method. When I tap on this card, I get the real world coordinates of my card. Then I change the parent from the anchor node to the camera. So the card will just come to my phone. And I set the card back with the real world coordinate. At this moment, I've got the pose, which is just like a long stick between the card and my phone. The pose composed of the quaternion and the vector 3. And with this, I just start Android animators, and there is a method in my node which is called addUpdate, which will be called for each frame. So in each frame, with this method, I will ask the animator what is the new value of my quaternion and my vector, and I will update them. So I've got this animation. AirCore is also able to do some augmented face. This one is a demonstration coming with the SDK. It will give you just one face in your image, and it will send you back a mesh, which is composed of 468 vertices. You also got some pose, which is one center pose in the middle of the head, behind the nose, and 3 region pose, which are left and right front head and the tip of the nose. You can also do some augmented image with AirCore, like this. It will detect the Earth image, and it will add the corner of the frame on the image. So you can detect up to 20 images simultaneously, even moving image, meaning, for example, a truck passing in the street. You can have up to 1,000 images in your DB on the phone. You can build this DB at the start of the application, but you can also do it before, just to give a better start to your application. You can use for this a CLI tool, which is called AirCore Image. This tool will also give you a score about the easiness to find the image, to detect the image. The last interesting thing in the SDK is Cloud Anchors. Cloud Anchors are anchors that you will be able to share across the device. You will be able to share them for 24 hours. There is a beta program, actually, that will be able to have persistent anchors with no more 24 hours limit. For this, you will have to activate a service on Google Cloud Platform, which is called AirCore Cloud Anchor API, and create a key for your API that you will add to your Android manifest. For your code, what you will have to change, you will create the session from your activity, handling the possible exceptions. Then you will create a configuration from this session. You will activate the Cloud Anchor mode, and then you will inject the session back inside the config back inside the session. The next thing is in your AirPlan tape listener, you will get your it, just like before, it create anchor to create the anchor, and then you ask to the session to host this anchor. It will return you a new anchor. This new anchor will have a Cloud Anchor ID. And then you just have to share this ID with the other player. On the other end, for the other player, they will have to ask to the session to resolve the Cloud Anchor using the ID. And after this, just like before, they create the anchor node, add it to the scene, and then they create the transformable node, add the renderable on it, and attach this node to the anchor node.
If you are more familiar with iOS devices, you may have heard about ARKit. ARKit is the equivalent for iOS of AirCore. The main features are the same. You have environment understanding, light estimation. You have even the same VIO algorithm for movement tracking. The big difference is on the naming of each component. For example, for the multiplayer mode, you have multiplayer connectivity for ARKit instead of Cloud Anchors for AirCore. One new feature on ARKit is the occlusion by people. That means that when someone stands between a model and the camera, the model will be hidden behind the person. It also works with just putting your hand between the camera and the model. This is available since version 3 of ARKit, and also you need an iPhone XS or 11 to make it work. What's cool with AirCore is that you can plug AirCore on the top of ARKit and then bring Cloud Anchors on iPhones. You can then develop a game on an iPhone and an Android, and both players can play in the same playground, on the same session, the same game, and it's cool. We're told that there were a SDK for Unity. But first, what you have to know is that AR is not something new for Unity. Historically, you have Vuforia, which is integrated directly in the wizard of Unity, so you can install it with Unity. Vuforia offers the ability to train a neural network to make some augmented images or augmented simple objects. What is Vuforia used for is for training. For example, in a factory, when you have a new employee, you have to train him, and for this, you can develop an app with Vuforia, give it to him, and it will scan each part of a machine, for example, to train him on this machine. So there is some difference between ARCore and Vuforia. Both of them are easily integrated in Unity. You have a Unity package on GitHub for ARCore. Vuforia is directly integrated in the wizard. But ARCore is more for playful domain, and Unity and Vuforia for Unity is more for professional domain. Vuforia is under commercial license, so you can develop freely an app, but you cannot release it freely. ARCore is under license Apache 2, so you can freely develop and release your app. So, why did we use Unity? We wanted to offer a greater user experience with ARCore and Unity by using the benefits of a video game engine, with the physics engine, with the network management to share the Cloud Encores ID. We wanted the benefits of a rich asset store. The asset store of Unity is where some developer and some creator are sharing scripts or 3D model, freely or not. And Unity integrates the support for the 3D standard model of the market. So let's see a demo. Oops. Okay.
Okay, so, hop, come back here. Hop, tu peux te débrancher, non? So, at the top of the screen, you've got Jeremy's phone, and at the bottom of the screen, you will see my phone.
So we haven't lied. We have a Unity application. I'm just going to start a new Cloud Encores session. New session. I have to scan the environment. Yes, here are the surfaces. And on tap, I'll display a map. We call more than 2,000 API. We make more than 2,000 API call. We first call Bing Maps. You can join me, I think. We first call Bing Maps to have the coordinates here of the Mont Blanc. Then we call an Open Elevation API to have the position of each vertices. And then we call an OpenStreetMap API to have each tiles. So what Christophe is saying on his phone is the same thing that I see.
So each player can move freely around the scene. Maybe you can reduce the scene.
Oh, sorry, yes. Okay. I'm just zooming out.
Yeah, we are shrinking the Mont Blanc. So each player can move freely around the scene. And we can also share some information. For example, I can tap on the screen. So, didn't say it, but when you tap, if you use only OpenGL, there is a lot of things to do, meaning that you will do something called recasting, that you will have to start a line perpendicular to your screen and go until you hit something. For this, this is all managed with ARCore, and it will just give you the hit result.
Yes.
try to add something.
Oh, sorry, I'm zooming.
Okay, so we can add some flags like this at the top of the Mont Blanc, and each player can see it.
Yeah, I will see it also.
As you can see, there is no occlusion.
No
So
occlusion.
maybe we can change our location.
Yes.
We've got some time for the demo, so
Yes.
we'll try
We're
to
going to
change
go
the
to the
location.
Kilimanjaro, so. Kilimanjaro. Yes. Search.
So
We have the tiles.
we've got a call to Bing to get the coordinates of the Kilimanjaros, and there is a call to the elevation API to get the height of the dots.
Edge
Get it.
vertices. That's what I said. We have some network problem, I think.
Yes.
We have poor network here. Oh, it's coming.
Fine.
Sorry for the wait. Yes, and we have both. Oh, it's freezing.
Yep.
It's better. And here is the Kilimanjaro.
If you want, we will be at the doors of the room at the end of the session. If you want to see a demonstration directly on the phone,
It's quite more fluid. So with Unity, we can make some pretty cool apps. I think it's pretty cool. But it can cost a lot of time if you are not on Unity for a long time. Because first, you have to change of language. You are on C# instead of Java on Android. There is a Unity-specific IDE. I'm going to show you. It's very, very specific. The first time we had a problem, it was the flag dropping through the map. But with all these menus, we didn't know where to go. And, in fact, they were just missing a rigid body. It was just clicking on the button, add component, and adding a rigid body. But the first time, it's quite difficult to know this. You also have to use Visual Studio, but it's because you are developing in C#. And it's video game concepts. That means that you have to calculate each user interaction, each collision, each event in the map here for each object in your scene on each frame. So it's a different programming approach than a single handler for on-submit event on your web form. So we have presented a lot of SDKs, but if you want to get started with AR or VR, you might wonder where to get started. For this, a standard was announced for AR and VR in February 2017 by the consortium Khronos Group. A first version was released on July this year. First, OpenXR tries to standardize the API. For example, you can develop an app on Unity, on Unreal, and have the same API behind for AR. The second level is creating a device abstraction layer. It's like creating a universal driver for every AR or VR devices. The problem you solve is the XR fragmentation. Today, you have to develop an app for each platform if you want to be compatible with every devices. With OpenXR, this problem is solved. Who supports OpenXR? There is a lot of people in software, hardware, everywhere. But there is one society missing. Apple. Apple is member of the Khronos Group consortium, but Apple does not work on OpenXR. You have a support for ARKit in OpenXR, but it's more a community support than an official support. So for now, and in the future, if you want to develop an app with OpenXR, you may be obliged to develop also an app for Apple devices. Thanks for listening, and if you have questions.
Is there some question? Yes?
Have you checked out to run ARKit or ARCore with Flutter?
To run ARKit or ARCore on?
With Google Flutter.
Google Flutter? No, we didn't try it. But I think it may work.
There is a port for ARCore, but it's not really stable.
Yeah, there are plugins for both, so the question is only have you checked and is some coding with cards and Flutter stuff?
No, sorry, we didn't try it with Google Flutter. Yes?
If you wanted to make your own thing in Unity with this, would there be like some template project when you start, or would you have to start from scratch?
So is there some template to start working with Unity and ARCore? This is the question. Yes. So no template, but you can find, there is on the Code Labs by Google, there is a tutorial doing it. This is a demonstration with a snake and eating fruits. And with this one, you will understand everything. You just have to import the asset for ARCore inside of your of Unity, and then you can start to work with it. You have to. There is some change that you need to do there. This is the main camera. I think that you have to change it. Or don't remember. We did it some times ago.
No, it's the main menu scene. So you have to go.
Bad scene.
Bad scene. You go on the scene, Cloud Encore client, and there is.
There you've got this
prefab
ARCore device that is coming with the assets that you will have to add to your Unity application, and you can start to work with it.
Our demo is even open sourced, so you can. Yep. You can scan the QR code, and it's free to use, free to transform everything you want. So it can act as a template for getting started.
Any questions? No? So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And if you want a closed demo, we are available.